Lathan Watts serves as Vice President of Public Affairs for Alliance Defending Freedom. In that role, he's overseeing the development and execution of strategic communication plans for the expansion of ADF's mission into state legal advocacy efforts, collaborating closely with other ADF teams. Prior to joining ADF, Watts spent nearly 20 years in various roles in the political, public policy, and nonprofit sectors. He also served 4 years as a city councilman in Louisville, Texas. He earned his Juris Doctorate from the University of Mississippi and his Bachelor of Arts in History from Harding University. Welcome, Lathan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Well, it's been about 2.5 years. I guess it was the episode 166. We were talking about court packing, and you were here. And now you've come back. You've got a case at ADF, Alliance Defending Freedom, that hits very close to home for people who watch Economic War Room. I mean, we are focused on how economic weapons are being waged against us from foreign enemies, but sometimes from domestic enemies. And in this case, it looks like people are losing their bank accounts because of social or political beliefs. That sounds a lot like Chinese social credit scores.
Unfortunately, yes. Our founders were certainly concerned about the concentration of power, particularly at the federal government. But when you combine concentration of power at the federal government level with the concentration of power in the financial and tech sectors in our country, if those two entities are working together, it presents a huge threat to liberty. I mean, basic access to basic financial services is essential to everyone in this country. And to be denied access to that based on religious beliefs or political beliefs is certainly un-American. And if the federal government is involved directly or indirectly, it's unconstitutional as well.
Well, that goes back to the founding and the writing of the Constitution, because the whole issue of whether there should be a national bank, the control of money has been central to the control of liberty from the very beginning. Life, liberty, property, which includes money, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. The founders knew that being able to access money is the kind of the opposite of the World Economic Forum. You'll own nothing and be happy. Right. No, they actually said that property was intimately connected to the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what we've seen with some of the largest banks in the country is this phenomenon of debanking, and based on what appears to be a bias against certain viewpoints or religious beliefs or political beliefs. Our most current client dealing with this is a nonprofit, a Christian ministry called Indigenous Ministries.
Indigenous Advance, all right. The first thing I'm thinking of is Native peoples advancing on something. I don't know, what is Indigenous Advance?
Right, so they, even though they're based here in the States, in Memphis, Tennessee, they work mostly in Uganda, and they're doing really great work in a lot of different areas in that country, helping people who have been victims of human trafficking, helping people get out of poverty, into more economic security. All things to advance that culture.
It sounds like a mission, or is it a Christian organization?
It is a Christian ministry, and Indigenous Advance was debanked by Bank of America.
All right, stop a second. Debanked. We talk about it here, but is that a thing? I mean, look, debanking, we've seen it with Nick Vujicic, we've seen it in Nigel Farage and Sam Brownback, and we've had both Nick and Nigel here in the Economic War Room. Yet the media is like looking at us and saying, debanking, that's not even a thing.